Whenever Jim Rohn delivered a talk, he always highlighted two major responsibilities that he felt he had to the audience, aka his clients. Number one, that they get their money's worth. He felt he needed to give them more in their value than he took from them in monetary value. And number two, and most importantly, that they get their time's worth. That the time that they sacrificed was truly worth it, because paying in time is more expensive than paying with money. This is powerful because number one, he placed himself out there to be held accountable, committing publicly that he wants to and should deliver. Number two, he takes control and responsibility by naming it. A good friend of mine, Simon, says, once you name it, it loses power. And I see it like this. Once I publicly name and claim the things I should do and will do, then the things I don't do loses the power that it has over me. With responsibility comes freedom. Number three, he lets the audience know that he understands and values the price that they paid, not just money-wise, but in time, for them to be there. He respects them and commits to over-deliver, and that way, right off the bat, establishes relatability. That's exactly what we as entrepreneurs should do with regards to our products and services when it comes to delivering or presenting an offer to a client. You can make 10,000 Rand a day, R1 million a day, 10 million Rand a day, but you can't make more time. You only got 24 hours and nobody's guaranteed. So all you really have is now. It's the most precious thing we have and nobody even knows how much they got of it. So if you have something so precious and you can run out of it at any given time, why in the hell would you be stupid enough to spend it on low value activities, low value tasks, low value people and conversations? People do it because no society, government or institution has taught us the value of time, the real value of time. It's precious, you don't know how much you got, but it is yours. Spending it is your privilege and your responsibility. Choosing how you spend it is your privilege and your responsibility. You are allowed to choose. You don't need anybody's permission on how you're going to spend your time. We all have a story of rise and fall, fall and rise, death, suffering, pain, victories, failure and success. But I believe you can only find the peak of the mountain if you at least search for it and try to climb towards it. If you seek better, seek another way, you seek financial freedom, you seek truth, you seek knowledge, eventually you will find it. That's how you eventually get lucky, as they say. Like Jim Rohn found good fortune through Earl Schwab, I also found good fortune through Jim Rohn, Les Brown, Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk, Earl Nightingale, Dale Carnegie, Napoleon Hill, and I can probably sit here and name you a list of people for half an hour. But when you discover the thinking process, the ideas, the truth and the knowledge that these people put out there, you become compelled to share it. I am compelled to share it. I cannot help myself. I want to dive deeper and deeper into it because it brings freedom. It has to come out. It has to free people. It has to liberate them. I want to be a liberator of people until the day I die. I am addicted to it. I found my creator in it. And when we find truth and liberation, the most powerful and noble thing that you can do with it is to share it. Why? Because the more we help others, the more we help ourselves. If these people didn't share their knowledge, their truth, their thinking process, their ideas, then we would not be sitting here. And if we don't go and share the truth that we discover with others, then in 50 years from now, there will be people in financial, mental, and emotional bondage because we failed to do what we were called to do. It's more valuable than money, and it doesn't cost you any money to go and share it. In fact, it will make you money if you consume it, apply it, and share it. Not just that, it will bring wealth in all areas of your life. There's a couple of things required in order for you to find good fortune. Number one, you should be in search of it. Number two, you should be willing to learn. And number three, you should be coachable. If you can't be those three, then you can't find it. It's as simple as that. Can you be part of a mastermind, a club, or a network? Can you consume and apply new ideas and strategies? Is it really that difficult for us to do? In How to Have Your Best Year Ever, Jim Rohn mentions the first 5 years when he was under the mentorship of Earl Schwab. He shares the things he learned that completely changed his life and his finances and his relationships, which is literally everything we do in the 4am Club. What books to read, what disciplines to apply, what changes to make in your language and your personality. This is the things that will change your income, your reality, and your future. Now, you can find this in books, right? You can find it on YouTube. You can find it in the 4am Club for a ridiculously low premium every year. But the problem is with society, we've been taught to value money more than we value knowledge and time. When you can save time through knowledge, does that not make sense? If you don't know how to get fit, or you don't know how to get into property, or you don't know how to do your books, or you don't know how to do anything, there's a book or a course or there's somebody you can pay, or something that you can buy where you can get the knowledge and save yourself the time. Why in the hell would you not want to do that? Jim Rohn also mentions that sincerity is not a test of truth. A lot of times we see people that are sincere, emotionally invested, believing that what they are communicating to us is something truthful. Your parents, your spouse, your business partner, and relatives can be sincerely concerned, but on the foundation of fear. That does not mean that they are truthful or that they are right. How many times in your life have people been sincere and concerned, but wrong? So you test truth with truth, not sincerity. Here, he also gives the audience permission to think for themselves and disagree with him, and in turn builds trust while being transparent and leaving room for errors. Jim Rohn highlights that gratitude unlocks opportunity and good fortune. Being open-minded and thankful lets opportunities in the form of ideas and strategies or revelations flow to you. You become open to them. And cynicism and skepticism blocks that. Being cynical and skeptical about everything is the easiest way for you to block positive energy, new ideas, strategies, or concepts. Those are the things that will empower you. Life is a ledger with negative choices and positive choices. Life or death. And obviously, at the end of your balance sheet, you want the life choices to outweigh the death choices. It's as simple as that. Let what you do be the product of your own conclusions, not what other people or institutions or the government tells you to do. This requires us to take responsibility for what we know and to take responsibility for what we don't know. If you messed up, it means there's something you don't know, or something you didn't know, or something you didn't take into account. Whose problem is that? Not whose fault is it, whose problem is it? Now let's ask ourselves this. Who is the person that would gain the most out of solving your problem? That would be you. No one else will ever be more incentivized to help you than you. That means nobody is going to want to help you. Nobody's going to help you. You've got to help yourself. Jim Rohn speaks about 5 major pieces to the puzzle of life. Number 1, philosophy. Number 2, attitude. Number 3, activity. Number 4, results. And number 5, lifestyle. On the topic of philosophy, Jim Rohn says it's the major determining factor of how your life will turn out. You have to think and use your brain. It's capable of more than we were taught to believe. Earl Nightingale says man's biggest problem is that he does not think. Our minds have become lazy to solve problems. Most of the superficial problems we have been solved for us by institutions or big corporations. We are comfortable. We can get most of our basic needs or superficial desires at the click of a button. We are entertained, fed, and lazy. Humanity has very little motive to find truth, knowledge, and to be extraordinary. That's why it's so essential for us to place ourselves in uncomfortability. It's our fuel, it's our driving force towards greatness or towards achieving more. We are not animals compelled to think in one order or one specific way. We can think differently, process new ideas and concepts. We can learn things. Your philosophy is the foundation for whether or not you see it and do it. It's the foundation for how you choose to see it and do it. For example, if your philosophy doesn't factor in your habits, then you've got a problem. Jim Rohn says the recipe for disaster is a few errors in judgment a day. Because the moment it becomes habitual, you make a couple of errors in judgment a day for 1,800 days. Then you made errors for 5 years. It will accumulate, and that's when you see disaster. Disaster in your business, disaster in your marriage, in your relationship with your children. Then we want to fix it in 5 weeks, and then we wonder why we can't. In the past 2 months, I've noticed a trend with my son, right? I'm up in the morning at 4 a.m., out of the house, I'm grafting my ass off, I'm pasted by the time I get home, 6, 7 in the evening, I'm tired. He wants to play and I just don't have any energy. He gets these outbursts lately. I can see he's frustrated. What the hell do I expect? Huh? What should I expect? What will my relationship be like with my son if I carry on like this for 5 years? Whose problem is it to fix? Quality time with me stimulates him. It empowers and develops him. My responsibility to build my son is a bigger priority than my responsibility to build wealth. Yes, I should do both, but the one supersedes the other. I got to amend my schedule and I got to ensure that I show up for my son, my business, my family, my wife, and my people. But what enabled me to do this? It's my philosophy. I am responsible. I rearranged my schedule to spend intense and quality time with him, an hour in the morning and 2 hours in the evening. I created activities, challenges, and bonding opportunities. I read him stories that will build his character, develop his mind, strengthen his confidence and his spirit. Stories of great men, kings, triumphs, victories, defeats, and how they handled adversity. I had to see the future, think, calculate, strategize, and take action on this. What would our lives be like if we had such a philosophy, passion, responsibility towards our finances, our relationships, our health, our wealth, our business? And don't forget God. The recipe for success is a few simple disciplines a day, every day. Repeat that for 1,800 days and you've got accumulated success. If you don't eat crap, you don't consume BS on social media, you read 30 minutes on a personal development book, you spend quality time with your family, you work out an empowering schedule and you stick to it, then I swear to you, God is my witness, you will see a massive change in your health, wealth, and relationships. This isn't even a promise. It's a damn guarantee that I'm giving you. And if you're in the 4 a.m. club, you're probably going to get there 10 times faster. It's very simple. Do you want to help yourself or not? On the topic of attitude, how you feel. How you feel about the past, the present, and the future. This will be determined by the cognitive lens through which you choose. Choose to view the past, the present, and the future. School, varsity, your parents, God, the country, your business, the marketplace, your family, yourself. How do you view yourself? Do you view it as something that took from you? Or do you view it as something that you can take from? Something you lost or something that you can capitalize on? Something that caused you pain or something that strengthened you? Which viewpoint or perception is going to put something into your pocket? Which viewpoint will enrich you emotionally and mentally? Jim Rohn says, without a future well designed, we take hesitant steps. If you take hesitant steps for 5 or 6 years, you'll be weak, timid, scared, you'll lack confidence and self-respect. Hence, you got to design your future, set your goals, plan your schedule, plan your health, plan your wealth, plan your business, plan your marriage. Hell, you even plan your parenting. I plan my parenting. Think, set, plan, take action, and stay consistent. It's a lot easier to do these things when you mingle with people that know how to. The different ones. They look and seem a little bit weird, but they get shit done, like me. The only reason why it's difficult to be different is because everybody wants to fit in. They want to fit in with all the average people. So you get the approval, but you lose your higher self. Is that a good deal? Jim Rohn says understanding self-worth is the beginning of progress. We can all read, we can all think, we can all listen. If one of us can make $1 million, then all of us can make $1 million. If somebody without matric can become a hectamillionaire, then anybody can become a hectamillionaire. If I, Marcius Van, my plotter, can go from nothing to something, if I can change from general worker to influential public figure, multi-millionaire, then hell, any person can do that. The question is, can you see it? Can you believe it? Can you love yourself enough and be brave enough to go for it? See yourself as that, make it part of your identity, do the things that that person would do, and you will get the results that that person is supposed to get. On the topic of activity, turning the wisdom from your philosophy and the inspiration from your attitude into activity. When you combine wisdom, attitude, and activity, you get miracles. That's when people say, yeah, but you're lucky, or you're lying, you're a scammer, you're a fake. It can't be that easy. It really is. What's not easy is getting it through thick-skulled people. That's not easy. An empowering philosophy plus an empowering attitude invested into activity equals miracles. And every successful person out there will second me on this because it's the truth. Even Jim Rohn was part of a network that did business together, read books together, invested together, networked with each other. But he's just one of the greatest minds of all time, right? So who cares? Now, why did he do that? Because he knew he could and that he should. If you can get better conversation, a network, and make more money, and you know that you should get better conversation, a network, and make more money, but you don't, or even worse, you won't get better conversation, a network, and make more money, then you won't get any miracles. Then that's on you. It was your choice. On the topic of results, when you combine a philosophy and attitude, you invest it into activity, you get miracles, and those miracles have results, then you should measure those results. What does the data say? How can you improve? What can you change? What should you change? What do you want more of? What do you want less of? The data will enable you to see, calculate, strategize, and adapt. You can't let too much time pass. You've got to check the data daily, weekly, monthly, annually. If I started collecting data earlier in my journey as an entrepreneur, then I would have probably been 2 years ahead on target by now. A foolish error in judgment. I failed to capitalize on it because I was not aware of the value of data. Please let something good at least come from this. Track your inputs and your results. I promise you, this alone will save you millions, it will save you pain, and it will help you to avoid making a lot of mistakes that I made, which I could have avoided if I knew where to look, and if I knew how to collect data and read the data or results. And not checking it, once again, that falls on me, it falls on you. You got to check your own numbers. Success is a numbers game. You got to check your weight, you got to check your bank balance, you got to check your input into your relationships, into your business. We have to be mature enough to check the data, the figures, and the results. On the topic of lifestyle, Jim Rohn says lifestyle is simply learning how to live well. When you apply an empowering philosophy, you combine it with an empowering attitude, you invest it into activity, you get miracles, those miracles have results, you measure the results, then you can design for yourself a good life. I believe that's when our Creator looks at us and smiles, when you have created and designed the seemingly impossible. And all of this comes down to studying what it is you want. If I want to be a great father, then I should study great fathers. If I want to be a great king, then I should study great kings. If I want health, I should study health. If I want wealth, I should study wealth. The same with strength, happiness, entrepreneurship, anything that you want, you can have it. It's yours if you decide to study it. Now, I can understand to a certain extent if people 200 years ago made the excuse of saying, yo, but I don't know how to get the knowledge, or I can't get that. Me and you, we don't have that luxury. That's a bullshit excuse. You have access to more information in the palm of your hand than the President of the United States did 50 years ago. Anything you want to study, you've got access to it, you can find it, and you can study it. And everything that we discussed in this video thus far is what we need to start the process of change. Why wait for the government, the system, and your relatives to change when you can be the change? Those things don't need to change for you to have an extraordinary life. You can change. You can take it. The question is, are you going to take the opportunity, or are you going to make more excuses?